Hey y'all, it's your Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Zatima Season 3, Episode 17. The episode picks up where left off, and Leslie and Malachi are still at the dinner table, and Leslie's still going off about how Malachi is still in love with Fatima. Leslie reveals to Zach and Fatima that her and Malachi are in therapy, and all that he can talk about in therapy is her and how he's still in love with her, and Leslie tells Zach that the only reason her hair is like that and the reason he caught them in their house is because Malachi wanted to see what it would be like to be with Fatima. Leslie's like, actually, Zach, while you weren't here, I caught him sneaking through Fatima's pictures and looking at her and staring at them. And Leslie's like, Fatima still wants him and he still wants her, so Zach, what you gonna do? You're a street nigga, you ain't gotta take this. Zach is like, I am not sure. Leslie's like, I knew it was you in that picture, Fatima, just admit it. Fatima's like, enough, I don't know what you talking about, I don't know what y'all got going on, but that was not me. Malachi looks at Leslie and says, I had somebody doctor that picture. Leslie's basically looking at Malachi like, you lying. No, something's really wrong with you, Malachi. Why would you have somebody doctor up a picture of Fatima and send it to your wife, you dummy? And Leslie, why would you even stay around with a man that's clearly in love with another woman that makes you change your appearance to look like her? Something's really wrong with you, too. Malachi tells Leslie to go sit in the car, but before Leslie goes sit in the car, she's grabbing the bottle of wine. She's like, since y'all don't want to give me none anyway, I'm going to just take it. Malachi apologizes to Fatima. He's like, I'm sorry for all this. I don't know why she's acting like this. Malachi and Leslie leave, and Fatima and Zach have a conversation, and Fatima's like, do you want to talk about it? Zach is like, I am pissed, though. Fatima's like, do you really believe that was me? Zach is like, no, I don't. Basically, like, what are you mad about then? Zach is like, well, you should have told me that they was coming over here. You let people know where the spare key was. Fatima's like, I'll move it. Fatima's like, the only reason he was over here is because I needed his help with something. Zach is like, what you needed his help with? Fatima's like, something for Angela. He's like, what does Angela need help with? Fatima's like, don't worry about it now. I ain't calling him anymore. Zach is like, I'm glad we're on the same page about the spare key thing, but you can still call him. I don't care about that. Zach is like, you should have told me who he was, though. Fatima's like, so you want me to tell you about every guy that broke my heart and left me at the altar? Zach is like, every guy? Fatima's like, there's a few. Zach is like, I would never leave you or hurt you. Zach is like, you did leave me in jail, though. Fatima's like, I only did that to teach you a lesson. Zach is like, lesson learned. Zach is basically like, how did I leave you, though? Fatima's like, well, you left me when you went to jail and you chose Jeremiah. He's like, what did you want me to do? Fatima's like, check on me, see if I was okay. Zach is like, okay. She's like, speaking of Jeremiah, I think you should go see your brother. Zach is like, I'm not going to see him. Fatima's like, well, there's a video out, and he could press charges on you, so I think you should go see him and apologize. Zach is like, I'm not going to see him, and I'm not apologizing. Fatima's like, I honestly think you should do it before your mom's funeral. Zach is like, when is that, by the way? Fatima's like, well, I gotta call the funeral director and set up a date because the prices are going up day by day. Zach is like, that man is a scammer. Fatima's like, tell me about it. She's like, you are going to see Jeremiah, though, and I'm going to tell you where he's at. Zach is like, okay. Over at the barbershop, we see Zach going to talk to Tony about getting some advice on whether you should go see Jeremiah or not. Zach is like, hey, why are these locks on the door? Tony's like, well, there's been a whole string of robberies. Zach is like, why are you here so late? Tony's like, I gotta come in different times to throw them off. Zach is like, you holding? Tony's like, I'm always holding. Tony and Zach go sit down and they're still talking about the whole string of robberies. And Tony's like, well, there's a whole gang of young kids that's in the gang and they doing all the shooting and stuff and ain't got no morals. All they do is listen to drum music. Tony's like, what you need though? Zach is like, well, I want some advice on whether I should go see Jeremiah. Tony's like, I think you should, so he doesn't press charges on you. Zach is like, you sound like Fatima. Tony's like, well, she is, right? Tony's like, I think you should go up there and apologize. Zach is like, I'm not going up there and apologizing. Tony's like, well, he was wrong, but you was wrong too. Tony's like, can I show you something? Then he shows Zach the video of him beating up Jeremiah, and Tony's like, you blacked out, you was gone, you beat him for everybody that ever did you wrong. This wasn't just about Fatima. Zach is like, you shouldn't have touched my wife. I wouldn't have to put my hand on him if he didn't touch her. Tony's like, you could have killed him. You almost did. Tony's like, well, we can't choose our family, but you can't let people have a say in your relationship and make it change your character. Tony tells Zach that these people are going to be in his relationship whether he likes her or not. And Zach is like, you sound like Fatima. Tony's like, well, she is. Zach is like, this is why I didn't call Nate. You would have told me. Zach is like, this is why I didn't call Nate. You would have told me that I should have killed him. Zach is like, you would have helped. Tony's like, he definitely would. Tony's like, you got two people inside your brain. You got a person that everybody loves and is a stand-up guy, and then you got one that's ready to kill at any moment. It's up to you to decide who you're going to listen to. Tony's like, I think you should go up there and see him. Whether you do or you don't, it's up to you. But you're still going to face consequences. Zach is like, thank you for the advice. Tony's like, you already know. We locked in for life. Tony's like, I got to get back to smoking, though. Zach is like, you smoking? Tony's like, no, I just do edibles. Zach says, your head looks like an edible milk dud. And Tony's like, that's not even funny. So Zach gets up to leave. He unlocks the locks on the door, but Zach struggles because his hand is still messed up. So when Zach leaves, Tony leaves the door unlocked. I'm like, Tony, you just said that there's been a whole string of robberies, but you gonna leave your door locked. Wow, okay. Over at the hospital, we see that Zach took Tony and Fatima's advice and went to go see Jeremiah. So when Zach walks into Jeremiah's room, Jeremiah's like, doctor. Zach is like, chill out, I ain't even on it. But when I tell you Jeremiah screaming for the doctor had me crying laughing, I'm being dizzy. So Zach and Jeremiah have a conversation about Fatima, and Zach is like, well, you can't talk to her or touch her no more. Jeremiah's like, I won't. Jeremiah's like, I'm sorry. Zach is like, I know you are. Jeremiah's like, I know you're sorry too. Zach is like, how you know that? Jeremiah's like, cause you beat me up. Jeremiah's like, I don't want to end up like my own man. I want to change my life. I want to do better. Zach's like, what makes it different this time? Jeremiah's like, well, that stuff killed her, and I'm not trying to end up dead. Zach is like, so you want me to help you? Jeremiah is like, yeah, can you pay for it? Zach is like, I'll see what I can do. But Jeremiah is like, I don't want to end up like my mom, man. I love you, Zach. Zach is like, well, why you treat me like this? Jeremiah is like, well, I was jealous. All the girls like you. You got money. What am I? I'm just a junkie. Jeremiah is like, my kids won't even talk to me. Zach is like, well, it's not too late to fix that. Jeremiah is like, well, I messed up too bad. Zach is like, you can still fix it. Jeremiah is like, when's mama's funeral? I just want to pay my respects. Zach is like, I'll let you know. Jeremiah is like, I love you, man. Zach is like, I love you too. And that's when Zach leaves. Then over at Zach and Fatima's, we see Zach getting into bed after going to visit Jeremiah, and he's kissing all up on Fatima like, I'm so grateful for you and I love you. Fatima's like, Zach, are you okay? Zach is like, yeah, I'm okay. I went to go see Jeremiah today. Fatima's like, how did that go? Zach is like, you went all right. He asked me for some help to get him clean. Fatima's like, well, what do you think about it? Are you going to do it? Zach is like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And then they start talking about the whole Leslie situation, about how Zach didn't believe that it was her in the picture. And Zach is like, well, I know every hole in your body. So he's like, there was a hole at the top of your ear in that picture, and you don't even have that hole anymore because that hole's closed. Zach is like, I just had to check and verify. Fatima's like, well, I love you and only you, and I don't want to be with nobody else but you. But I will tell you if I start talking to somebody else. Zach is like, so you going to talk to somebody else? Fatima's like, no, I just want to tell you, because you came close to losing me so many times. Fatima's like, you better get your act together and promise that you'll be calm, because I don't want our kids to be around this. Zach is like, I don't want to lose you. Zach is like, since we're talking about becoming better people, I must tell you that you have some issues that you need to work on yourself. Fatima's like, me? I got issues? Zach is like, yeah, you got it. Fatima's like, you sure you talking to me? Zach is like, I'm talking to only Fatima in the room. He's like, first, you used to fly off the handle a lot too. Fatima's like, I got better. Then Fatima says something about jumping to conclusions, and Zach is like, see, that's one of them. Fatima's like, I don't jump to conclusions. Zach is like, you just did. Zach also mentions to Fatima that she could be insecure at times. Fatima's like, me and insecure don't even go in the same sentence. Fatima, you definitely could be insecure at times. Fatima, there's no reason to be in denial about it, because if you are, you are. That's something you can work on. Fatima's like, I'll promise to be better if you promise to be better. Zach is like, well, both be promising to be better. Mind you, this whole time Zach has been wanting to have sex with her, and Fatima's like, no. Until they had that conversation, she finally gave it. Zach was very happy after. Over at the barbershop, Tony's fear of getting robbed has finally come true, because he was the one that left the door open, so the robber walked right on in without. The robber was like, you already know what time it is, give me what you got. Tony's like, I'm not giving you nothing. The robber's like, so you want to die tonight? Tony's like, I suggest you put the gun down. And I asked y'all this question, why would the robber reveal his face and take his mask off? Even if Tony didn't have a gun to defend himself and you would have just let you get away with the money, he would still have the description of your face and could have went to the police and told them exactly what you look like. The world's dumbest criminals, I tell you. But the episode ends outside the barbershop and all we hear is gunshots, so we know that it's Tony defending himself. Probably wouldn't happen if you locked all the doors as soon as Zach left, but I wonder what Mr. Tyrone will have to say about this. Of course he's going to make a joke out of the situation. Even though nothing is funny, because Mr. Tyrone takes serious moments to make jokes out. But Tony, I suggest that you get a security system for the barbershop. But I'm glad that Tony had a gun on him to defend himself. But let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. Bye!